All the catches you see on this show are in Suriname. All the gear we use on this show is only available at Tomahawk. Tomahawk supports catch and release.
Hi, my name's Ted Jansen. Welcome to another amazing reel adventure with Tomahawk. This time, we went way back to the southern border of Suriname. As you know, Suriname is an amazing country, pristine areas, and this was definitely one of the toughest adventures up to date that we have been on. Check this out. We're at the Zorgenhoop Airport. We're getting ready for a big expedition all the way down to the south of Suriname in the Grens Gebergte area, and we're going to try and catch some big animata. That area is known for the animata. Okay? This is Real Adventure with Tomahawk.
In this Real Adventure, the crew is heading to the southern border of Suriname, together with an expedition team from Conservation International. And of course, as usual, the crew will need to get most of the way there by plane. However, the weather was starting to turn, and a large storm was brewing. Rain and strong winds were all over the airstrip, and after a delayed morning, the pilots were ready to fly. Even though the weather had not completely settled down, the crew was a little nervous to be taking off in these conditions. But the pilots assured this would be as easy as cake. In the air, everything changed, and they were off with clear skies to their next destination, Palemeu. The village of Palemeu is located at the fork of the Tappanahoni River and the Palemeu River. This is in the living area of the Wayana and Trio tribal people. Flying takes about an hour to get to the village, and from this point on, it's traveling by dugout canoe and by foot to the Grens Gebergte. The team was told prior to leaving that this trip would be physically demanding and logistically hard to get to. This is why we need the locals to help us get to our destination.
Welcome to Palemeu. This is Real Adventure with Tomahawk, and we're going to the border mountains, the Grens Gebergte in Suriname. Do some real extreme fishing.
They started unloading the plane. Ted meets up with old Wayana friends from his younger years.
So, we've arrived at our first camp. This is a rapid here called Wayana, and we're going to sleep here. It's our first night out in the jungle on this Real Adventure with Tomahawk. We're on our way down south, all the way to Brazil, the border mountains. And this same river brings us all the way back there. It's not going to be that wide back there, but it's full of fish. Just watch.
Tonight's rest will be crucial because tomorrow they will have to cross over the dangerous Trombakasula.
Good morning. A cup of tea with a lot of sugar and milk in it to give some energy for today. We're going to have to pull our baggage and our boats over this big hill, and yeah, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of fishing in today, but we're heading south. That's where the big ones are. This is Real Adventure with Tomahawk.
At first light, the crew gets their gear together and down to the boats for loading. The next several hours will be straight back-breaking work that tests their durability this early into the adventure. But before they head out, Ted decides to get to know one of the cooks traveling along on this journey.
Here's one of my friends. What is your name?
Richard.
Huh?
Richard.
Richard.
Yes.
This is Richard. Richard is a Wayana Indian, a Wayana tribal person who lives in this beautiful territory here. And he's the cook, huh?
Yeah.
He's the cook on our trip. So I got to catch a lot of fish for him so he can cook some stuff up for us. He doesn't believe this catches any fish. Now that's an anyamata. But I'll tell you what, this is a search bait. It's called the bull. And it comes in like 3 or 4 different colors. And this one just knocks. He looks at that and he says, no, that's not going to catch anything. We'll see if he's right.
The boat ride from Wayana to the bottom of the Trombaca Rapids is about an hour and a half, and along the way, various animals can be seen, such as this howler monkey. The beauty of the Suriname jungle is really starting to show at this point. Almost immediately after arriving, the men start to unpack and begin carrying their part of the 3,000-kilo load to the other side of the falls. And of course, Ted made sure that his very important gear made it safely to the other side.
Oh, real adventure. The Tomahawk. This bag is heavy.
Several times, the crew would have to walk back and forth, baggage and equipment, and several hours later, they would have almost everything on the other side, ready to be put back into the boats. The crew was recommended to stay on shore and not assist with this very dangerous task.
This is James. And James, you know, he fishes, he's a good fisherman. He wanted some line. This is the first time he's going to be using braided line. They normally fish with nylon line, and he's not so sure this is going to work the way he would like it to work. But I'm going to give him 2 spools of some braided line. And tomorrow he's going to go out and try and catch some Kumalu.
As the day is drawing to a close, they head further upstream towards the small tourist camp of Sawani Boto, which is 3 kilometers away from Mount Kasikasima.
Hey! It's the rainforest!
From the river, we can see the towering 700-meter granite formation jutting out from the jungle, an amazing and exhilarating sight to see. At Sawani Boto, the crew rests from their overworked day, and Ted gets a tip from one of the Indians about large anyamata in the creeks nearby. Ted decides to check it out.
It's our, let's see, third day. Already losing track of time. It's our 3rd day here on this trip. We've got a total of about 30 days to spend here in the south of Suriname on the Palemeu River. But my first day to go out and actually fish. So I'm setting up to go in the creek and go hunt for anyamata. Remember this? Search bowl. So that's going to be a lure of choice. I'm going to use 2 of them. One set up on this rod. This is a Daiwa with a trevally stick. Good enough to hold a pretty big fish. And here's another surprisingly strong rod, Falcon, Cara, together with a Shimano bait caster. What Michael's doing there is he's trying to attract the fish, because they're sleeping a lot of times in the daytime, just relaxing on the bottom, trying to get their attention, wake them up. It's a lot like what we do with lures. When they hit the water, they make a splash, and you work the lure, something moving gets the fish active. It's been raining a lot these days, so the water's up, so we're going to head on further into the creek. A little deeper in, there's some good areas there where the fish will probably be sitting. Got to cut ourselves a path alongside the creek. Michael is going ahead and making sure we get a good through.
The conditions were less than expected, and because of the dense rainforest, getting through to the creek was virtually impossible.
Well, that led to a dead end. Couldn't go anymore. The bush was too thick, so we're going to head back out on the river and go try another creek. Okay. Huh? This thing is treacherous.
At the next location, they were able to clear a path to the creeks, and Ted decides to put to the test his Lucky Craft search bowl. Off the first cast, he instantly gets some interest, just what the search bowl is made for. But due to the rain, mud and debris have lowered the creek's visibility, which is most likely the reason this Anyumara missed this very popular lure. The Anyumara are visual hunters. Seeing their target is a must. Not too long after Ted's strike, our friend Hendrik battles a decent-sized Anyumara. He set the hook, but couldn't hold the beast long enough, and it escapes.
Oh my gosh. There's a little hope. I had a little strike, two of them actually. What's your name? Henry. That's Henry. Henry had a huge one on his hook, but got off. I mean, it was big, monster, right here. So we're going to head up a little further and see if we can't catch one for sure.
Ted and the guys cut more trails and try several locations.
What we won't do to catch a fish. Look at that. We got to cut through all of this. I know some of you think we're nuts, but I'll tell you what. Once you get through there and you do catch a fish, oh man, it feels like heaven. This is fish hunting with Tomahawk.
Heavy rainfall increases the debris flow into the creek, making it muddy and not the best for hunting these underwater beasts. A couple of hours of hiking and fishing led to no success, and Ted leaves with only his missed strike and his ambition to get the monster Anyumara on the line.
Well, we had a good time walking through the forest. Didn't catch anything this time, but we did get a couple of strikes. We know they're there. And so next time, we got a lot of days yet. Next time we'll do it again.
At base camp, the crew rests because their back-breaking work will continue in the morning with a feat that is harder than they could have ever imagined.
Well, this is the fourth boat going up a really steep hill, up about let's say 100 meters up, and then there's 2 kilometers all the way on the other side of these enormous rapids here. And we've already got 3 boats on the other side. This is the 4th one, and we've got 4 more after this to go. We hope to get done today. It'll be an all-day work, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be heading up river even further to the south, near the Brazil border and the Suriname border.
Due to the increase of the water level, the rapids have doubled in size and have become deadly. The crew is forced to drag the canoes over 2 kilometers of land. Each canoe, with approximately 25 men, takes about 2 hours to pull. They used sticks on the ground to decrease friction and make the boats roll across the jungle floor. After what seemed like days, the last boat touched the water on the other side, and they were ready to continue the heavy trek to the Grens Gebergte.
That's it. That's it. I am happy now.
They camp at a nearby village called Kinepaku. Although they have been in the jungle for a few days, Ted has not had much success or real attempts at catching the size fish he wants. And because of rising river conditions, this has affected fishing along the main river. As night falls, the crew takes to rest, and Ted hopes that the days to come will offer some unique fishing opportunities. The next morning, Ted travels with a couple of excellent Wayana fishermen, Jacob and Sawo, to document their indigenous art form of fishing for Kumalu. Tomites libaili, or Kumalu as it is called in the villages, is a heavy fish known for its ability to swim in the largest of rapids. The fish feeds primarily off fruits and river plants and is equipped with jaws and teeth that can break nuts and anything else that it sees floating down the quick water.
This is an Apatina Special, a specially hand-cut and designed fishing pole. This is what they use to catch the Kumalu on. It's an amazing stick, it's got a lot of flexibility, extremely strong. I use a Daiwa Steez with the Steez reel. I got a feeling this is going to work better.
They travel to a known fishing spot at the bottom of the Papadron Sula and attempt to catch some Kumalu.
Apart from being great fishermen, they're excellent boatsmen. You don't come here without them. Now Jakob's got a special way of tying the line. He's going to put a little knot at the end, then he reinforces the rod with putting some line right about mid of the pole, and then just wraps it around the wood. So he takes like 1.5 lengths of the fishing rod. His teeth are knife. It's a knife. Same type of knot we use. There you go. This is a fruit that they got out of the forest, and the Kumalu love that. He puts a little, about like an 8-ounce weight on the end of the line. Together with the weight of the fruit, it'd be about, I'd say about 1/2 ounce. This is another fruit that they use. This is mope. Giving them that as a backup.
Jacob begins to cast directly into the strong current, seeking out holes in the rapids where these fish school together. He uses the force of the rapids to propel his bait forward, which is why his flexible monofilament line is crucial for this style of fishing. On the side, Ted takes a shot at catching Kumalu using his Tomahawk special. Jacob lets Sawo have a go at hooking one of these monsters. Soon enough, Sawo gets a strike, but unfortunately the monofilament line is cut by the powerful jaws of the Kumalu. Ted gives the fishermen a custom-made titanium leader, and although hesitant at first, they accept the offer. On the other side of the rapids, the men spot a fruit tree above the water and decide to cast where the fruits fall. When fishing for Kumalu, patience is very important. Demotivation hits you fast when you miss a strike. Several minutes go by, and the men are unsuccessful. With no catches, they decide to head back. But Jacob gives it one more try. He gets his strike. But is he able to hold the fish long enough for Sawo to net it out of the water?
He's got one. He's got one. He's fighting with it. He's fighting with it. Real adventure Tomahawk, man. And indigenous fishing. Wow. This is not a small fish. That's a big one. Whoa! Whoa! Yeah! 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 Fish hunting with Tomahawk with the Indians, the Wayana Indians of the Palemeu River. Amazing. Amazing. This is a Sriba Kumalu. Fish is 10 pounds, 5 kilos. Amazing. Sriba Kumalu. Check that out. Jakob, master angler with the Apatina special fishing rod. He's got some teeth on him there. This is a family of the piranha.
After an amazing morning of fishing, the team continues south towards the Langasula river system. The Palemeu River is starting to narrow down. This makes the river look more like a creek. And now begins the final leg towards the Grens Gebergte. The wide river now turns into a small creek, where the boats will have to squeeze their way through. A single fallen tree becomes a difficult obstacle. This will need to be cut in order to pass, and in more than one spot on the river they will encounter these annoying obstacles. The Real Adventure cameraman documents his footage.
This clip was shot much later. We're still in the same old creek, and actually it turns into the river turned into a little creek, and we're hacking our way through jungle bush. There is Hendrik, aka Hardy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys. You guys are superstars.
Yes.
Good job.
Fish hunting with Tomahawk. We're all the way down south on the Palemeu River. It's like a little creek now.
Yeah?
The river is long and winding, and traveling seems never ending. And with only an hour of daylight left, they have not reached their destination. Frustration builds amongst the men, and it almost seems that they're possibly lost. Having not eaten for hours, the crew decides to stop and build a makeshift camp in the dark.
It's too dark to see anything right now. But we're lost. We haven't found our camp yet. Near the border of Brazil somewhere. Everyone's a bit frustrated.
In the morning, we can visually see the remnants of their camp, using twigs as rope and garbage bags as coverings for their hammocks.
Last night a guy set out lines and that's what he caught right there. 2 giant animadas.
As we go along in the bush here, these are the people we meet. This is a walking stick. Check that out. Isn't that cool? So it's not all about fish and fishing. It's about nature and what you find out there. I mean, check him out. He's just sitting there waiting to... Nobody sees him. Nobody knows that he's actually an insect. He looks like a stick, doesn't he? And then you start touching him and he starts walking around. There you go. Pretty cool. This is real adventure with Tomahawk.
After days traveling by boat, they finally arrive at the base camp. They have made it to the Grens Gebergte of South Suriname. The back-breaking journey is over, and now it's time to test the hidden creek-like waters of the Palemeu River and go fish hunting.
We did get here. This is our camp. It's been used before, owned by a family of David Zappa. And this is the Palemeu River. Looks like a creek, but it is full of animado, and we're going to now have some fun. This is real adventure with Tomahawk. Get all my gear together here. Most important part, fishing poles.
Ted gets his gear ready for the unexpected as the Indians claim that these waters hold the largest animada they have ever seen. They navigate as far as the boats can go, and then they set out by foot to fish the edges of the river.
This is how dense it is. Spotty's cutting our way into a little place where I can put my rod in there.
Ted spots a good fishing area and decides to give it a shot. Ted feels a bite. A catch, but not the size he was looking for.
J1. Fish. This is a small one. Kind of got to pull them out of the water like that. But not the size we're looking for. We're looking for 5 times that size. Okay. This is a very small boy.
Ted continues to fish other areas along the river in hopes of finding these gigantic anyumara. They are not having very much success. But they find a suitable mud bank by the river, and Ted gets into position. He scans the shallow water for movement, using the tightness of his line to feel the slightest touch of his bait. Ted feels a bite and gets ready for the strike he was looking for.
Got an interest.
He sets the hook.
This is a...
Hold him in.
But couldn't hold this monster.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Did you see how big he was?
Yeah, it was huge. That was huge. Oh my gosh.
He tries again in the same area, and not long after, gets a second bite. But this one gets away as well. Frustration builds. He remains determined. He tries again and gets in position. He feels a bite. Finally, the fish is hooked.
Okay. Fish hunting with Tomahawk. Here we go.
Oh my god.
Whoa, if you want to see the rest of that amazing fight, you're going to have to join us next time as we continue this amazing adventure in South Suriname. I'm Ted Jantz, and I'll see you next time on Real Adventure with Tomahawk.
On the next Real Adventure with Tomahawk.
Aha.